Okay, not sure where to start, but this year, to kind of recap uh, the year and I guess the decade, I wanted to do a video instead of, like a giant tweet thread partly because I have another video project in mind that I want to get started next year. So I bought all this equipment to kind of prepare for that. So why not put it to use? I guess I'll kind of chronicle what I experienced this year and where I'm at now and what I'm hoping to improve upon for next year. The beginning of this year, I was still living in my last place in Sunnyvale. I moved out, a couple months after that, back into my parents' house for a couple of months because I was kind of in between living situations. While I was living with my parents, I don't think this was necessarily a trigger for this, but I noticed that driving home from work, occasionally I would have more or less anxiety attacks. They started to get more frequent and worse because, a couple of years prior, I experienced something similar where I would just get home after driving and it was like the sun was low in the sky and it would flicker through the trees and it would just make me like kind of lose focus. I would get home and just have to lay down on the couch and like stare up at the ceiling and not at a screen for like an hour because I was so phased out and it felt so physical. I thought something was physically wrong with me. My family, I thought, had a history of some kind of epileptic seizure condition, but I spoke with everyone in my family who I thought experienced that, and it was actually something completely different. It was more of an extreme stress response that resulted in my family members fainting. But that thought in the back of my head of like, I think there's a history of this while I was driving, and me having this physical response to motion and light made me panic, like I was gonna have a seizure while driving and pass out and crash and however many terrible things would happen as a result. Some weeks were better than others and it went away for a while. Then early this year it came back and really badly, where nothing bad happened as a result. Like I didn't crash, I didn't cause an accident. I almost made it home one night after work and I was about less than a mile away and I had to pull over into a neighborhood and ask my mom to come get me and bring me the rest of the way home. I got home, laid down on the couch, just tried to relax, and I was gonna give driving another shot the next day to go to work. I got in the car and it was like within a mile, same exact feeling. I just had to pull off the freeway and I tried to drive myself to the doctor's office and same thing, I almost made it and I just couldn't do it. I called my parents again. Thankfully they were able to help me. I went to the doctor and they did all kinds of tests and questions and I'm perfectly healthy physically, but mentally I wasn't. I had an anxiety attack. In order to continue living my life, I had to ask for rides for a couple months to get to work and to get back home or whatever it was, because that was starting to happen right as I was moving into my new place, which made it challenging to say the least. I have a real big network of friends and family that were able to help me, and I'm eternally grateful for them helping me get through this. Thankfully, it's gotten better. Yeah, after I kind of ran the gamut of physical possibilities of what could be afflicting me, like I thought maybe it was an eye condition that caused me to have anxiety, like my eyes weren't working right, and so it made me panic. So I went to the eye doctor. He said the same thing. He's like, there's nothing wrong with your eyes. Your vision is the same as the last time I checked you. After all that, I, signed myself up for therapy. That's something I'd been wanting to do even before it reached its head, and I should have done before. But, you know, better late than never, I guess. I've been doing it once a week for, let's see, 4 months now? Yeah, I think I started in August. And it's been a great learning experience for both what I'm dealing with and who I am as a person. You know, I've only ever heard great things from people who decide to go to therapy, that it's only good. I don't think, I mean, it is what you make of it. You know, if you're gonna be stubborn and not, really reflect and not be open with your therapist, then you're not gonna get much out of it. But I like to think I'm pretty good at that. But I mean, there's certain things that I wouldn't even turn to myself and face, and my therapist helped me realize that. So yeah, things are better. Back to driving. I can ride a motorcycle just fine. I still have like that feeling when I drive. Sometimes I'll get just on edge, I guess, when I drive. But yeah, I can stay on top of it now. Like I'm able to control it just enough to where it doesn't rise to the level of a panic attack. And same thing, some days are better than others. Some days I don't even notice that I'm stressing out, and then other days it's like I almost let myself fall into that same trap of something's wrong with me, something's going to go wrong. But for the most part, it's been better. I think I tweeted at the beginning of this year that I thought this was going to be a very transitional year for in many ways, both out in the world, just with our political landscape. I won't get political here, but also personally, I just had this sense that, like, all right, it's gonna be messy, ugly, and suck a lot, but in December, where we are now, I'll be in a better place than I was at the beginning of the year, and I think that's true. The reason I wanted to make this video was because I was watching Deep Cuts with Hasan Minhaj. I don't even really watch his show that much. I way more enjoy the like crowd work and the question and answer he does. It's just like my specific brand of comedy. I think it's hilarious, and he's really good at it. In one of the episodes, he had Charlemagne the God on, and he's been very open and honest about his experience with anxiety. And he said,
so the easiest thing to do every day when you wake up in the morning is be yourself. So for me, it was just me getting on the radio and sharing my experiences, and it makes you feel stronger because you realize you're not the only one. You have a tribe of people that have the same type of anxiety, that deal with the same type of PTSD, the same type of traumas, the same type of depression sometimes. And for some strange reason, it makes you feel stronger knowing that you got a village of scared people behind you.
Something to the effect of, we're not doing any favors keeping secrets from each other about our anxiety and our depression, our mental health. So I wanted to make this video to be in line with that and say, here's what I'm experiencing. Here's what I've went through this year. Part of what my therapist always says is that you're not alone. What I'm experiencing, no matter what it is, whether it's with, anxiety or relationships or childhood experiences, like, you're never alone. There's always somebody who's experienced something similar, and by forming that connection with somebody over his shared experience, it helps you get through it. I'm hoping this video can be helpful to somebody, maybe just myself, because I'm being open about it and expressing my experience, and then maybe I can make another video in a year and see how much further I've come. I have a visitor. What you doing? How about you? Do you have anxiety? Are you depressed? What do you think? Do you give a shit? Yeah, same. I know. But he's fine.